Welcome to The Warp. I'm Jack Rita. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about one of the oldest artifacts in the game of Cosmic Encounter. In fact, back in the day it was created, it was an edict, not an artifact. Anyway, that artifact is the Plague. And the Plague in the Fantasy Flight edition is slightly different from the original edict version of the Plague. So let's take a look at how it works, how it's a little bit different, and anything else that we can think of. So, the Plague harms player. Play at the start of any encounter and choose a player. That player loses 3 ships of their choice to the warp, if possible, and must discard 1 card of each type that they have in hand, such as an attack, negotiate, artifact, flare, etc. So, you can play this as any player, but it's got to be played during the regroup, and that is the main difference between this Plague and the previous one. The original Edict Plague didn't have that restriction that you had to do it before Destiny. So that's an important nuance here with the Fantasy Flight version of Plague, is that if you want to play it, you've got to play it before Destiny, before you know that the offense is going to be attacking you. So you play that card in the regroup, and that's one of the few cards in the game, the base game anyway, that has a regroup effect. So whenever we're playing and at the start of the game, do you have any regroup effects? That's usually what we're waiting for, is somebody to say, yeah, you know what, I am going to play the Plague. And it's usually on me, but hopefully not all the time. Not always the biggest threat at the start of the game. That shows up later on. The other thing that sometimes people don't always catch with the Plague is that you do have to discard 1 card of each type. So that includes an attack and a negotiate, and those are both encounter cards. So encounter card is not a card type for many game effects, the Plague being one of them. You would have to discard both, and that includes the Morph. The Morph is also a card type, and it's another encounter card. So it's the one card that a lot of people forget that they have to also discard if they have one in their hand. And if you have reward cards like Kickers or Rifts or an Intimidate, you have to discard one of those as well. So it's one of every type of card. So later in the game, when somebody does have a lot of reward cards in their hand as well, Plague can be especially brutal. So I sometimes like to hold on to it so that I can get the real impact later on. And so, yeah, that's it. That is the Plague. Let me know what you think of the Plague. There's only 1 in the game, thank God, because 1 is enough. And, yeah, it can be very brutal. And don't forget those 3 ships. You got to lose those as well. Sometimes people overlook that in addition to all the card types that they're frantically looking through their hand for. But let me know your thoughts on the Plague. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And any interesting stories about Plague use, I always want to hear those. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.